We specialise in finance applications, accounts payable invoices and accounts receivable, distribution of invoices and other documentation via print or e-bill. What I'm going to talk about today is really a case study on a job or a service we're providing to NFT, one of the leading food distribution companies in the UK. NFT had a project they wanted to implement to improve their customer service to more than 400 companies that they deliver goods for throughout the UK. The NFT business is made up of kind of 4 different strands. They have what they call picking clients, where they actually store the goods in their warehouses. An order will come through, they'll pick the goods from the shelves, put it on a lorry and deliver it to the delivery depot. This covers both ambient goods and chilled goods as well. And they also have non-picking clients where they will get an order, they'll send a lorry along to the manufacturer, to their customer, they'll have the goods loaded on the lorry and they'll deliver it to the end customer. They deliver to supermarkets. Everything they deliver is foodstuff, and they deliver to all of the major supermarkets. Now, I don't know if any of you have done business with the supermarkets, but generally speaking, they impose some terms on you as a supplier, and whilst they'll accept your documentation with your delivery, they'll sign your delivery note, it actually means nothing to them. They will provide you back a supplier receipt note or goods receipt note, which comes off of one of their systems. And if there's been any discrepancy on the delivery, they call that a claused delivery. You as a supplier have 5 days to challenge that. Otherwise, you're just going to get paid for what they say they received. Now, in the case of NFT, because they're doing the deliveries, they get the delivery notes back. And then they have to get those delivery notes to their clients, all within the 5-day period. So their objectives were to replace their manual process they had in-house. These delivery notes were coming back into a single office up in Derbyshire. They'd be entered onto the system to say the delivery will be made. Then they were all sorted into pigeonholes and returned via post to the suppliers, their customers, who would then have to sort them out and say, there's a claused delivery note, I need to challenge that. Was it delivered by NFT? Is it a problem at Asda? Is it a problem in our warehouse? They're contractually obligated to give these things back in 5 days. And so what they wanted to find was a solution that would ease the return of the documentation, both the customer's delivery note and the supermarket's receipted notes, to improve their customer service and meet their contractual obligations. They decided that they wanted to find a supplier who could scan 100,000 pages a week and who had existing web portal technology where the images could be loaded so that their customers could easily retrieve those images on a daily basis. And that opportunity came to us. And we felt that even though it wasn't a financial application, it was probably going to be easy. It was bread and butter business. Scanning 100,000 pages a week wasn't going to be a problem for us. We were doing 70,000 pages a night for DHL, so add another 20,000 on, that wasn't a problem. And we have a web portal. We've got 60 or so customers using it. We have 50 million documents online. This should have just slotted into our production facility and been a quick start for us. But there were some challenges which we faced. First of all, the 100,000 pages a week didn't come in across 6 delivery days. Some days there'd be 3,000 pages, another day there'd be 40,000 pages. So managing our production was quite a challenge, which meant we had to get some speedy throughput in the whole process of receipting, preparing, scanning and capture. They required up to 8 different index fields. And I don't know if any of you scan and capture, but 8 fields is quite a lot of fields to capture, particularly off a delivery note. The documents are all dot matrix printed, or nearly all dot matrix printed. And again, capture software, OCR software struggles with dot matrix print. Laser print is nice and easy, but this dot matrix stuff breaks up. And the documents themselves contained different data types So they were a challenge in trying to actually use every type of capture technology there was to do OCR, barcode recognition, looking for check boxes, doing calculations to say they should have delivered 100, it says 90, therefore it's 10, making sure they've been signed. And one of the bigger challenges was also that NFT have got 4 different businesses and they're delivering to the major supermarkets. There wasn't a single system which we could pull data from to reduce the amount of index that we had to actually key or capture. Normally when you're scanning purchase invoices, for example, you'd extract the VAT number from each invoice and you go to a set of master data, you'd look for the VAT number and you pull in all the supplier details using that field. But on these documents, not only do we not have consistent fields, but we didn't have a single set of data. Even within NFT, although they might not thank me for saying it, they didn't have the same data in their different picking systems for their different types of businesses. There are also some electronic forms. Tesco's, for example, don't return a piece of paper. They put a physical PDF document on a website. What NFT wanted to do was put all of that documentation into one portal. Another important point, which will be more apparent later, there are 100,000 pages, but it was actually around about 40,000 delivery notes. So our biggest challenge was how we indexed these documents without a lot of data to look to. What they wanted to provide to their customers was a single portal they could find all of their documentation. And the customer's key index field, key retrieval field, was going to be their name. The problem we had was Asda would know them as one name, Sainsbury's as a different name, Tesco's as a different name again. For example, Asda called them Young's Seafood, Sainsbury's Young's Blue Crest Seafood, another one called them the Seafood Company Fraserburgh. And these were the names that were printed on the documents. NFT had 2 different names for Young's, by the way, in their system. So that was a problem. Nor did the documents all contain account numbers or order numbers or actually a delivery point. The delivery point could be Iceland, Enfield, AM, Iceland, Chilled, Enfield, Iceland, PM. So there wasn't any consistency to the fields that we could use, and these were going to be the key fields the customer needed to be able to retrieve their documentation. But the only 2 fields that appeared everywhere were the delivery date and the supermarket name, such as Asda. And the other challenge, was this is what they look like. More than 400 different types of forms. Now, as an outsourced document processing centre, we've got technology. I'm not going to tell you what that technology is now, because it wouldn't be fair, and there might be some guys here who wouldn't want me to say it. But we do purchase invoices, and we have software which can extract data from flexible forms. We call that semi-structured. Should contain all the same fields, but they're all in different places. The software's clever enough to go and look for invoice number or date or delivery date and things like that and pick it up. The only problem we have with that is that software is very expensive. It doesn't matter which of the leading manufacturers you choose, it's very expensive software. And if we'd have used that software on the NFT, there wasn't a business case to do this. It would simply have cost too much money. We also have forms processing software. That's quite easy when you're doing driving license applications and things like that, because all the forms are the same. But here we had 400 different types of forms. And using forms processing software, we'd have had to set up over 400 templates. And that was a job which would have meant this wouldn't have been a starter. We couldn't physically have set up 400 templates. So we had to look for something else. And in the past, we've used the ABBYY suite of software. We've used their Fine Reader in the past, and we've used a product that they call Form Reader. But now they have a product called FlexiCapture. And we had a good look at this product, worked with ABBYY, and one of their tech support guys worked with us for about 4 weeks on this project. And we decided to go with this product. It had some key features in it. It has quite a lot of capability, and I'm not going to go through it all, but the things that we picked out were in setting up the application. We call a scanning job an application, I should say, so this is my language, I'm afraid. The ABBYY software allowed us to set up a semi-structured capture template called a flexi layout. And we built our own table looking for words like delivery note number, delivery date, delivery point, and we were able to pick out postcodes and things like that and build up a table of keywords the software could find on these variable forms. But also for the very high volume documents, because some of those supermarket documents like Tesco's are actually all of the same, we were able to set up a fixed template because the processing is faster. So in one job setup, we were able to mix a fixed templates, and we set up about 20 of those, and then 2 flexi layouts looking for keywords to be able to find it. So every document goes through the same job setup, has the same audit control, we know exactly what we've done, and the ABBYY software looks for the document type and matches the template to it, whether that's fixed or flexible. It also allowed us to scan documents straight into the ABBYY software, and we use the ABBYY scanning front end for that. But it's very good at polling a hot folder, we call it, because a lot of documents we're getting in, particularly from Sainsbury's, actually come in as email attachments, and we just send them through to a folder, and the ABBYY software is stripping off the attachments and processing them straight through the same setup as the scanned documents. Once it's imported, unlike all of these products, it goes through recognition, recognises the page, OCRs the whole page, and then picks out the keywords, key data fields that it's looking for. But it does one other thing which was quite important for us, and this is where this average of 2.1 pages comes in. If you scan documents using nearly all scanning software, you have to tell the scanner where the start and end of a document is. So invariably you sort all your single pages out into one pile and all your multiple page documents into another pile, and you put these separator sheets in the middle, or you put barcode labels on, some people do that, and it tells the scanner or the software this is the start of a document. The ABBYY software was able to identify the start and end of each document, so we didn't have to put in all these separators. Doesn't sound much, but it would have been 40,000 separator sheets a week. So there's quite an overhead on both the preparation and the scanning. And of course you've got to pay for the separators because you never take them out again afterwards. It does some rule verification, so field lengths, formats, you can set all of that. So we did. We built our own tables because of the naming issues. So we started with 2 sets of tables. The first thing we had to do was get an accurate name from each physical piece of paper. So we built a table of accurate names. We looked at what the software was actually capturing, and which wasn't always accurate because we're dot matrix print. So we started using account numbers from the forms, and we built up an ASDA table of all of their account names as they appeared on the documents. We built up another table for Sainsbury's and so on. And the good thing about the ABBYY software was we could just do that. It took about 5 minutes worth of setup. And the operators build this table as they go. So when a new supplier comes in, they just add the name to the table. And in the other software that we've used, and we've been in business for 25 years and we've used quite a lot, invariably they have to go back to a technical guy or a programmer to change the table and add stuff. With the ABBYY one, it's in real time. We have no technical intervention. The operators are building this information up. And then it exports the data to the web portal. One other thing that we put in the middle there was to convert the name that we got off the piece of paper into the name that the customer knew themselves as. So once we got one clean name, we could convert a clean name into the right name, so the customers could then find what they're looking for. Now, I mentioned the OCR side. The ABBYY engine has been around for probably 15 years or so, and it's known as one of the best engines in the world, and a lot of the other capture products use the ABBYY engine built in. I don't know if you can see that print, but that's a live document from last week. The bottom section is deliberately greyed out in the product, but this is what one of our operators would see, and this is the print quality there, and the software's read that 100% correct. It's in red because it's not absolutely certain that it's read it correctly, and it needs a press of an enter key to confirm it. But that's a dot matrix print. I won't tell you which supermarket sends those in, but they need new printers, but they won't buy them. And this is demonstrating one of the rules that we've put in. The screen is the same as the last one. On the left-hand side, we've got a supplier name that appeared on the document. In red above it, we've got what the software thinks it might be. And in this case, it's incorrect. And it's picking out key words from a dictionary, but the words it's actually read are par, which is a genuine word, and cares instead of cakes. So instead of being park, cakes, I could have chosen a different one, couldn't I? It's reading as par cares. But in our lookup table that we've built up, on the right-hand side, you can see two names. The one is the one that it's read it as. The other one is actually the correct name. And all our operators do is hover their mouse over there and they just go click, click, click. And they actually capture the name as quickly as that. And that's only on the ones the software is not certain, which is by far not the majority of them. And the third part that I talked about was the document assembly and the lack of separators. We scan every single page as a single page TIFF. And we use the software to compile or assemble those pages into multi-page images. And what this screenshot's demonstrated is that one's a single page document. This is a 6-page document. These are the supermarket SRNs, and the other 4 are the food manufacturers' delivery notes, which go together. And you can see he's done a pretty good job of saying this is the start, this is the end. And it was remarkably simple to make this happen. Point I didn't mention, in terms of making this happen and keeping it simple, we didn't need to learn any new programming languages for the ABBYY FlexiCapture software. It actually will use virtually any language that you're familiar with. So you don't have to go and learn Java or any of those other languages that some of these programs are written in and require you to write your coding. So we were able to stick with what we knew, which really helped us with deployment. So what did it actually mean to us as a service provider? We obviously won the deal, so that was quite important to us. But we won the deal because we were able to deliver this at a price which was justifiable for an FT. We did do some tests using other software, including the packages we already own and we're familiar with. And these are our productivity figures. The preparation is quicker in ABBYY because we're not putting in separator sheets every 2.1 pages. The scanning is quicker because we're not scanning those 40,000 separator sheets either. The scanners are running at the same speed, we're just getting more documents through. The indexing and the validation, in my opinion, was stunning. And I mentioned that we've been in business a while, and I've been in this industry for 30 years, and I didn't think I could be surprised anymore until they showed me what they could do. And I guarantee I was surprised. I was stunned with the performance. When we set the budget for this, we didn't set the budget in terms of cost to be doing nearly 2,000 pages an hour. We set it at less than half of that. So from our point of view, it's been quite good in terms of profitability. You can see at the bottom that we're doing the job with just over 9 full-time employees. We would have used 15.6 if we'd have used the technology we already owned. Manually doing this really wasn't a start. I just put those up for illustration. But in actual financial savings, if you add in all of that productivity gains and the cost of the separators, we're saving £105,000 a year in our production costs to deliver this service to an FT. What I haven't included is the cost of the software. I did tell you right at the beginning, the other software that does semi-structured forms is very, very expensive. It can work out at 5p a page, and that's if you buy some reasonable volume, annual volume. The ABBYY software didn't come in anywhere near that rate. So the actual saving, if you in turn include the cost of the software and depreciation of that, a lot better than this. I just wanted to finish with this is what the NFT customers see. They've got a portal which is customised for them. All of our customers get their own looking website so that they can log in. And when they do a search, this is the type of screen that they see. Now, I did a very simple search on looking for a delivery depot for Erith and a date that we loaded onto the portal. The reason that's important is that the delivery date's already on the document. By putting the date that we load it, we're putting our stamp that we've turned this round inside the turnaround time. We're saying it's in within 5 days. And I don't know if you can read that from there, but they are all within 5 days. They're all 2 or 3 days from point of delivery to being available for the customer. But the other thing we do is we highlight where there isn't a signature. We use the software to look for blank areas where the signature should be, and where there is a clause, i.e. they didn't deliver the full amount on the delivery note. So we're using the software to capture that. And we have a column there which is saying there's a discrepancy. And we put a Y for yes, which means an NFT customer, when they come in the morning, they can log into the portal, they can do a search on any deliveries made for them, which they can only see their documents, that were loaded by us the day before or the night before, and they can sort them by claused or unclaused. So they can get straight onto NFT and say, we're short of delivery to Asda, or we're short of a delivery to Sainsbury's, or they can get into their own warehouse, or they can contact the supermarket and deal with a query and challenge that. Because for them, this is real money. They're not going to get paid unless they can prove they really did deliver. That's the end of NFT. What we're doing as a business now is we are rolling the ABBYY software out across a lot of work we do for other customers, and we're now starting to use the software to do all of the purchase invoices that we scan. Although, as we're scanning the best part of 3 million for quite a number of people, we're away from. It's got to be some way before we actually convert it all over. So we started with the email invoice attachments coming in because of the hot folder technology with ABBYY is so strong. We're setting up invoices and running them. That's me done. Thank you very much indeed. Have you any questions? It took us probably 4 weeks to make the decision. So ABBYY were doing all of the testing for us. We sent them lots of images and jobs and can you do this and can you do that? And by the way, we wanted to do this as well. What I would tell you is you need training on any of this. So whether you buy ABBYY or anything else, get your people trained because it's a real art to getting this software running well. 4 weeks from the point of decision, we had the software installed and we had the first part of the work set up. We then ran it for 2 weeks, put a lot of effort into it, and we tweaked it, and we made a couple of changes to speed the throughput. So we started at around about 1,000 pages an hour, and by changing a couple of setups and changing the sequence that we were doing things in, we got it up to virtually 2,000 pages. But it's a bit like running a Formula One car. You can put it on the track and you can go very fast, but unless you constantly keep tweaking it and resetting it, but that's not just the ABBYY software, that's all OCR software. Actually, the only way of really knowing what errors you've got is when rules fail, when it won't match the rule that you've set. So you put in, there are standard validation rules, and then you can add whatever's suitable for the application you're doing. But then you visually check. But using lookup tables and master data, we only saw the quick validation screen where we were just checking characters, because the other screens are a little bit small, but ABBYY produces a list of all the pages in the batch, and it puts a yellow flag against any that you might need to look at because it's not certain for you to just confirm, and it puts a red flag against any where it's not going to pass this point until you change something. We get over an 80% straight through pass rate using this software, which is staggering. Really is staggering. The first thing you should do is get somebody professional to map your current process. Okay? I get into too many projects where I get surprises and shocks when I go in and send my professional service people in to do the pre-study, that the customer's not doing what they think they're doing. So the first thing is map your current process. The second thing is check your data sources and make sure the data you've got is accurate. And do not commence a project like this without doing those two things. And don't even look at technology or anything. Clean your data and know your process. Then go and find the technology and then get the manufacturer to test. If you want to go onto our website, this is not a sales pitch. I actually have written a buyer's guide for data capture, which are the questions you need to ask people like ABBYY Software or ReadSoft or Kofax. So I think it's only just gone on. I think it's on the website, but if you leave me a day or so, I'll make sure it's there as a download. Some of the things they don't tell you everything you need to know. And if you've never used it before, there's some lessons that are in that document that might help you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.